Hey, we are back with another pro player point of view. Today we are watching Chemo play Gaia against Slassinger. So Chemo is currently 7th on the leaderboard and Slassinger is 4th. Now I'm not sure who Slassinger is, but it seems like he's like a Loki one trick. Maybe it's a smurf of another top player. But I was going to watch him, but then I saw Chemo playing Gaia, and I got a comment on one of the recent videos saying they want to watch Gaia games. And Gaia is really interesting, so I think we should check out Gaia. So we're on the map Oasis, which can sometimes be quite a boomy map, which is obviously why Gaia is a pretty good pick. But Loki doesn't normally want to boom, so we'll have to see how Gaia will cope against Loki. Now, if this was Legacy, then Gaia against Loki is a losing matchup for the Gaia, but I think Gaia's a lot better now. The heroes are a little bit easier to get, and in the most recent patch, they've been buffed slightly, and also something like the Caladria is actually really good at slowing down early myth units, so I think Gaia isn't so bad as she used to be, especially in this matchup. So what we're doing in this series is we are just watching Chemo. We are watching from his perspective to see what he does against the enemy Loki player, Slassinger. So what he's doing early on is with the oracles, he's sending them forward to see. I mean, this map normally has a decent amount of goats on it, which is what he definitely wants to collect. And being Atlantean means he gets 3 scouts, which means he should get the better of the goat trade here. He's also doing a little bit of scouting with the goats because the enemy player is playing Norse, which means that he only gets 1 scout unless he wants to invest quite a bit of resources in getting a second one out. But I do recommend it on something like this, at least in the old game. I haven't really tried much on new Retold, but I'm sure it's pretty similar. So he's not going for a crazy fast advance time because he's getting 2 villagers on the wood. Let's see if he got the early upgrades. He definitely did. He got the early hand axe, early pickaxe. So this is probably going to be pretty similar to a build which I made on the channel about a month ago, I think. Basically, as soon as Retold came out, I was like, a lot of people like Gaia, especially with the full eco. She's like the only one that can get the eco upgrades ASAP. They're also, as of this most recent patch, they're even cheaper for her. So it just makes it even cleaner, this build. You can see how many goats he's actually collecting here. He's getting so many. He will definitely get the better of the goat trade. Getting a Templar, probably going to go for a 430 advance time. Or whatever it is for the Atlanteans. And then we'll see what happens. Will he get this town center? There's nothing really on it unless there's something in this black spot. So it isn't the best town center, but also a map like Oasis, sometimes you just need to kind of go for these more boomy plays. Yeah, so he's gone for, what is that, a 420? I guess that is with the Atlanteans because they have slightly different build times for their citizens. It isn't every 15 seconds, it's slightly different for them. So they have slightly different timings. But he will either, so he's also getting an early husbandry. So this is just full eco. He could even sit in his base rather than going out to this hunt here, even if there's so much of it. He could just get husbandry, which he has, go for all these goats. He's got 10 plus 2 coming here, so he's got 12 goats. And then straight from that, go on his farms because Gaia gets the extra farm upgrades. She gets them earlier, so you can actually get some really good farms even in the classical age and the heroic age. So the enemy player has advanced at 4 minutes, which could mean he's going to put the pressure on, but the Gaia player, Chemo here, will be absolutely fine. He can get watchtowers if he's under any pressure. The gold mine's forward, which isn't the best, but it has a tower here, and then he's getting double military barracks. So it looks like what he's doing is he's probably going to go for Mamillo and the Caladria to run around together, get Bite of the Shark, which will then get the extra damage on the poison damage from it. And you can see the power of the Caladria there. They slow down enemy units so well. And then that's when your Mamillo can just jump on top of them and kill them off. He'll probably make the first couple into heroes because then he can deal with trolls if he's going to go for see any trolls. Although they will be on the back lines, maybe a little bit harder to die than if he would have gone for an Iron Heart, but he is going for those 2 early heroes. So, looks like the second Gaia Forest, you get 2 Gaia Forests for free. It looks like we're just using this one to guard the Sentry Tower, and it also means that if villagers want to chop this wood down, it'll be nice and safe. So, normally you like to get out a handful of these to then start to run around with the Caladrias, and then you want to use the burst heal on whichever one gets really low, so that'll be using W. And it looks like he's playing into the enemy player pretty well because he's gone for Raiding Cavalry, which obviously the Mamillo will do pretty well against. And he wants to get in front of this, but unfortunately not microing it too well, but gets it to half HP. The enemy player does have Healing Spring, but it means he's going to have to run all the way back. Little raid from the enemy player here, but easy enough to just shank down with the villagers. Not really a problem. Doesn't have to run out for food if he doesn't want to. So we've seen that the enemy player here has loads and loads of units, so he just wants to run away. He might lose one, but he might be able to get a burst heal off. It's only the troll that can actually take out these Caladri here. So this you can see how good the burst heal is. You want to almost turn it off of auto so you can use it whenever you want, but then you've got to really keep on top of it. But Mass Mamillo is going to be really strong here, but you would assume that the enemy player is then going to come out and get some throwing axemen, which would counter these Mamillo pretty well. But the Mamillo are decently fast, so can jump onto them. Looks like Oracle Hero going to chill in the corner and just get as much line of sight as possible. He hasn't actually built any more Oracles, probably just because he wants to spend as much as he possibly can on his Mamillo. He's also getting out some Terma, so this is it. So this is going to counter the throwing axemen that might be coming from the enemy Loki player, because Terma are anti-ranged, so they are good against throwing axemen. So really nice play, expecting the counter to come to your unit that you're making. Maybe medium Mamillo would be a pretty good shout here, but he's actually going for Bite of the Shark, which is probably more value than medium Mamillo. It definitely does more damage. Whether or not it does the damage is better than getting HP and flat damage, not sure. But as long as both of the players stay on one town center, the Gaia player will just be ahead with the upgrades, even though she only has the Archaic Age upgrades. But just because she wants to get as much value from all these Mamillo as she possibly can. Really nice raid here. You get the poison damage. Won't be able to take it out, but we'll get it much lower than normal. Nice catch of these Hurster here. Really good choke point here because the enemy cavalry can't get onto the Terma. So it's just, and the enemy doesn't have watchtowers yet, so it's just really nice to get some free damage onto some of these dwarves. I think one of them actually changed into an Ulfsark there, which he was also managed to take out, which is crazy. Barely lost anything there. Hardly any low ones, and this one can get burst heals up really nicely. That was just a complete win for Chemo there, and he's just going to heal up and then go back. Now is when I would probably like to see medium Mamillo, just because he's got 17 of them, and I think getting medium Mamillo is going to be better than getting another one out, and that is exactly what he's doing. Because not only is it better because you get more value because there's 17 of them, but you don't have to bring the next one into your army to get the value. You can just get medium Mamillo, see instant value if you were to take a fight now, rather than extra ones that would be coming from your town center, from your military barracks. Sorry. So it's a good idea to send one of these forwards now to see what your opponent's doing, because obviously we don't really know what he's doing. It's 9 minutes in, and probably for the next minute or so he will have this gold mine, and then he'll have to find a new one. So he's got 52 left. So the gold mines that we've scouted are this one and this one. There's probably going to be one the other side, which we haven't scouted yet. But it's just something to keep in mind, that this 52 gold is obviously not being used. The enemy player can use a market for a small amount of time, but you don't want to... you can't rely on that long term, because you will then... It will cost more and more resources to sell the more you use the market. Some nice kind of jockeying back and forth. The enemy player has gone up to the next stage through flaming weapons. He was trying to force the flaming weapons there to then run away. I think that's what he's going for. A Caladria nicely on the back. Is he just going to fight this flaming weapons just because the Caladria is in there to tank loads of damage? This is a really interesting play. With the poison damage, are you actually going to get the value here? A battle boar on the back. Wow. Is he going to win this against flaming weapons? That is crazy. is actually going to win that fight anyway. Take out most of the units. There isn't many heroes left, so the battle boar will do serious damage. But it looked like even with the flaming weapons and the defender's advantage, he didn't do too badly. I think that fight went pretty equal, maybe slightly more in favor for the Loki player, but not so bad, to be honest. Maybe if he would have, it would have been hard to run away halfway through there, and then he is Loki, so there is more potential for Loki Hersa to get some spawns, or Loki anything to get some spawns here. So kind of want to run away. But that was actually crazy that was even close against flaming weapons. But now we have the rock giant spawn, which is pretty scary. You're going to need to get some heroes to deal with that. And it looks like we're still on just the 3 military buildings. So it's going to be quite slow to get the production back. Oh no, 4th one, but still not too many. Eco-wise, does he have the extra upgrades? No, he still only has the archaic age upgrade. But nice to see, though, that he does have the armor upgrade, the hack armor upgrade to go against a Norse player. It's just a really strong thing to do. Just needs to back up, jump into the manors, into the sentry tower, get watchtowers, which he absolutely is. This army isn't going to be much of a problem with the army that he has plus watchtowers, although the rock giant is so strong. Such a crazy unit that Loki normally can't build, but with the myth unit spawns, you know, you just sometimes get lucky and get one of the best myth units in the game. Getting more heroes out to deal with these. And we're just going to see some jockeying around, which will definitely favor Chemo because he has the ranged units. The enemy only has 3 ranged units. Really nice retreat there. I don't even know whether Slasher just spotted that. He probably did. He's going to build a mana, 2 manas to jump both of these in. He's going to lose a little bit, but going to get some kills over here. That's actually really tough. It would have been better for him to just run away, but I mean, hindsight's nice and easy there. Actually, only loses one villager and wins the fight here. So actually, definitely worth just to lose 1 villager. I mean, look how many units he has here to just absolutely dominate here. The Terma don't really counter anything, which is the only problem. They counter these 3 guys back here, but there isn't many of them. But that's why Chemo's going to just micro onto those. Huge myth unit spawn for the Loki player. Not many heroes for Chemo to actually jump onto that there, so he's going to have to make some, and it takes so long to make them. Even though it looks like he's absolutely dominating this fight, the rock giant there was just so strong. Came in so clutch, but Chemo's definitely winning this fight. Really nice play with the manas here. Actually made it better than just running away because it kind of baited their enemy Loki player into sticking around and then just was able to capitalize on the only half the army attacking. Now he's got a huge army here. What could he do? He could just go full population, full send, or he could choose to maybe go up to the next stage. He's getting the farms up. It'd be really nice to get the farm upgrade, but it looks like he's just wanting to go full send onto one of the opponent's gold mines. So he's going to look for this one. Going to look for this one. There's probably one over here, and the enemy player will probably be on a couple of gold mines. It's normally what the top players do, like to spread out. But his army is going to be, you'd assume, much bigger than the enemy army, but actually it isn't. So he's going to have to run away, especially because the enemy has two battle boars, which are absolutely huge against not many heroes here, which was always the downfall of Legacy Gaia, is that she didn't have many heroes. But we're getting a couple more military barracks out, getting those upgrades, irrigation, shaft mine, absolutely huge, which means it isn't so bad for Gaia to stay in the classical age from an eco point of view. So really nice to see the Gaia benefit here. We're getting also a couple of heroes out. How many farms does he actually have? 11, and it'll be irrigation farms, and irrigation farms make them very decent. Plow farms aren't great. Irrigation farms, not great. No, irrigation farms great. Plow farms, not great. He also thought about putting an economic guild down here, which would spread the lush. So one of the most recent buffs for Atlantean and Gaia is that these economic guilds cost 30 wood, 9 gold. So you can technically spam them around to get this lush everywhere. And then if you get your tech of channels, it means that everything gets a speed boost on your lush, which I'm surprised he isn't actually going for. considering he has spread the Lush everywhere. This fight doesn't look so bad for him, especially if he can get the Terma onto the Throwing Axeman. Really nice Carnivora to make the Throwing Axeman target that rather than the Terma. He's got a decent amount of heroes to take down the battle boards, but it has so much pierce damage. I don't think these have divine damage like the priests do. No, they don't. The poison damage coming in clutch here. Really nice fight. He's slightly winning every fight except for that one with flaming weapons where it was he lost it slightly. But every other fight since then, like, just wins slightly and just gets ahead, further and further ahead, especially with these extra eco upgrades. I would really like to see the Gaia Lush being spread. I think it's going to be something that we're going to be seeing coming up in games now, as soon as players get used to playing with the new tech. Terma, lots of heroes to take down the myth unit spawns, and then we've got a decent amount of Terma to take down the Throwing Axeman. He's got medium Terma now, which obviously makes them even stronger. Mamillo here, medium Mamillo with the Bite of the Shark upgrade, doing really well. He hasn't found the gold mine yet. Is it this gold mine? It's this gold mine, so he wants to push here, then send a couple of Terma here just to distract the dwarfs. Actually, he wants to take this whole fight first. A couple of dwarfs actually changed into Berserk there, and that's a free win. That's essentially 3 dwarf kills, so he just wants to run away because he doesn't want to take the fight and basically lose that because they got 3 extra military units above what Chemo has. Although his army is absolutely huge, he probably could have won it anyway, but you just don't want to you don't want to risk things. Few house, you could get some house raids here, probably not worth, but it's always a sign of a struggle for the Norse player. I mean, look at this huge army, just staying classical, but now going through Thea at 16 minutes in. It's like quite a slow heroic age, but just going full classical pressure with the eco upgrades that only Gaia can get. Checking the middle out to see the hill fort, but look at the amount of idle villagers here, and he can probably get some good kills off here. A nice trap here, some on this side, some on the other side, and all that poison damage that I still think counts when they pop out the other side. If they're going to pop out the other side, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And then the enemy army comes in, but I mean, just getting so many good raids on these villagers. Unfortunately, Gaia doesn't really get the best heroic age option, so Hesperids Tree doesn't do something straight away. Loads of berserks here. They must have been villagers before. This must be a last-ditch effort to defend, which he absolutely will defend. But the Gaia player, Chemo, is absolutely fine with this. Going to get a settlement. He's so far ahead, especially if these were villagers before. Then he's basically just got loads more villager kills, and he's getting 2 town centers. Securing this gold mine with the Gaia Lush on it. He must have that upgrade now, right? He still doesn't have channels. I'm actually surprised considering he's got all these upgrades here. Got loads of oracles out, which I really like to see. Spreading them out here, as long as the line of sight doesn't touch the other one, then you get full value from it, and he spread them out really nicely. These are all very defensive because the settlement will absolutely protect it. And a really nice, safe wood line. He spent 10 favor on that, but absolutely worth to do that to get some free, easy wood line that also gathers quicker. Hesperids Tree number 2 coming down. Whoever controls it, train 5 dryads per tree. Oh, I didn't actually know that you could get 5 per tree, so that's 10 dryads. Dryads are very strong considering they are really cheap, 150 wood. They don't even cost any favor, which is obviously rare for myth units, but like, they do so much damage. Look at that, 14 hack damage per second for something that costs 150 resources. Very strong. Really nice raid from the opponent on this. Unfortunately, as soon as this one was finished, he moved over to the other one, but it was just a little bit late. Probably quite greedy to go for both at the same time, but he was quite far ahead that even if he lost out, which he did, he doesn't lose out by too much. And these Stymphalian birds are absolutely going to shred things like the Battle Boar and the mostly Ulfsark army that the enemy is going for, Slazenger. So now we're on to the next stage. What do we actually go for? So he can carry on going for Mamillo. Mamillo are very strong, where it looks like that is what he's going for, heavy Mamillo. Heavy Mamillo and the Arcus combo is actually pretty nice because the Arcus can take down the throwing axeman, and the Mamillo is basically good against everything. This probably isn't the best fight, but these Stymphalian birds do so much damage, especially against the battle boars. It means you don't need the heroes because the Stymphalian birds will absolutely shred them, and there isn't many of these sorely Yorkens and Yornuks, and there isn't very many of those. He's basically on his own, not many ranged heroes, so the Stymphalian birds are gonna get max value here, and the battle boars go down so quick to enemy Stymphalian birds because they have the 3 times multiplier against heroes. Even the poison damage did a decent amount there. He does want to back up here. I think he's sticking around here for some reason. Unfortunately lost those. I think his attention must have just been somewhere else. It happens to the best of us. It's nice to see that it doesn't just happen to me. But even this fight with the Arcus, Stymphalian Bird will be decent against the Nidhogg, but he might need to get out some Hero Arcus to deal with it. Nidhogg isn't that strong, especially as he's going to use the special, and he's just going to be... He won't have anything to retreat. I think that's something that some players definitely need to look for, is using the special to retreat rather than go in. But it was nice to see him use the manual special, which is definitely something that I don't see very often. But we are 2 town centers ahead, we would assume, because we're us as the Gaia player, we're just so far ahead. Nice surround on the back here. Just definitely needs to get out some Hero Arcus. He's got 3. And the Nidhogg's pretty weak, so I mean, even 3 is pretty good, but the AoE splash damage is huge. The myth units that are coming through, it's always something that Gaia used to struggle with. But look how much they just shred the Nidhogg. The Nidhogg is really not a good god power right now. I think it needs a buff. Maybe a Pierce armor buff, something like that, but then something like Priest, I guess, would still shred it. Loads and loads of Arcus being trained, and they will want to become Hero Arcus, and they'll just be very good against Fire Giants. Fire Giants en masse are really strong, so Chemo will really have to watch out for that. But from an eco standpoint, he's really far ahead. Putting the Palace down will do a decent amount of damage to the Nidhogg, but he does need to get a Hero Arcus over here. It's a good idea from... If you're the player behind, you don't want to be all in one place. You want to spread your forces out, because then it kind of distracts the enemy. But loads and loads of Hero Arcus here, 11. They will absolutely tear down these Fire Giants, and there's not much that can really take them down. The Throwing Axemen don't have the range, but he's just going to do some micro here to shoot and then run away, shoot and then run away, and he can really take down the Nidhogg super quick too. So these Fire Giants are basically countered here. They have 70 pierce. They have 70 pierced armor, but Hero Arcus, no match for Hero Arcus. Got some raids coming over here. This is what I meant about splitting the forces here, but it's fine. Chemo has a second gold mine here, so not really a problem. But obviously the enemy player doesn't know that, so Hero Arcus are coming forward. How much damage they actually get done to this Fire Giant, it just goes down so quick. Another one spawns, gets taken out straight away, surely. He's actually attacking both at once. Notices that one's there. Yeah, not much. Yeah, I was literally just about to say, after the Fire Giants go down, not much the enemy can really do there. Really well played by the Gaia player, Chemo here. I can't believe he took that fight against flaming weapons and did pretty well. It seems like Bite of the Shark, Mamillo are so strong, and even though Loki was so far behind, when he gets those myth units out, you start to wonder whether he can actually win those fights. But really well played by Chemo to get all those Hero Arcus out and absolutely destroy. So the takeaway from this is probably, if you're in a one town center versus one town center fight and you come out equal most of the time, Gaia is pretty good with the eco upgrades. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.